Hi everyone and welcome to a new episode of Dusty TV. Today we are looking at my new favorite headphone, which is the Meze Empyrean. I have this review unit from Meze. I think you already know Meze by now, but what you probably don't know is a little bit about the company that provides the driver. The driver is provided by a company called Rinaro, which is based in Ukraine, and they have been developing this driver for about 30 years. And I think at the end of the day, after I listened to it for like 2 weeks, I have to say this driver is pretty amazing. I think they achieved something really great here. Considering the technicalities of it, I would say it's probably the best planar magnetic driver on the market. The driver is called the isodynamic hybrid array, and it has a pattern on the driver, which I'll show you later on. The headphones come in this very nice aluminum case, which resembles the ones from Odyssey. In the case we get the headphones which come pre-installed with the leather pads, and we also get some spare pads but are out of a different material. This is Alcantara. They offer a different sound, and I'm going to talk about that later. And we also get a cable, which I'm also going to talk about a little bit later. Alright, so I think the design of this headphone is just gorgeous. They are, the cups are made out of one single block of aluminum, CNC machined, and it looks really well, and this gunmetal color also is very nice. I think it's easily one of the most beautiful headphones I have ever seen so far. The headband is made out of carbon fiber, and it has a leather underneath, and the leather at the edges has some suspension wings which help to distribute the weight properly, and they actually do feel very light, although they weigh 430 grams, but I don't feel that weight at all. The comfort is somewhere in between the HD800 and the LCD4. The HD800 still remains, in my opinion, the most comfortable headphone that I had, but these come in second. So overall, I think these headphones are very well constructed, very durable, and quite nice to look at. What I don't like about these headphones is the cable, which is quite stiff and it coils up. And for 3,000 euros or dollars, I was expecting a little bit more. Now, I will be replacing this with something else, but first I have to find that something else. And I'm saying that because I tried it with the cable of the LCD4, because they're using basically the same connector, which is the mini XLR, and the sound got worse, and I don't know exactly what's going on there, but I have to find a cable that sounds as good or better than the stock cable. So for now, I'm using the stock cable until I find something. Okay, so let's talk a bit about the sound, but first let's talk also a bit about the sound change that these pads create. So the leather pads that are installed by default have this warm sound signature, or provide this warm sound signature, meaning that you get a little bit of bass and a little bit of treble, with the mid staying quite neutral. And then if you switch to these, you're gonna notice basically the bass being a little bit less emphasized and the treble more emphasized than the leather pads. I personally prefer the leather pad sound signature, so that's why I'm using them, although the comfort provided by the Alcantara ones is better. I wish these sounded as good as the leather ones. So I powered these headphones with everything that I have right now, meaning the new Prime Duck 9 together with the HPA9, new Prime Duck 9H, which I just reviewed by the way, the ONT1 and FioQ5. All of them can power properly these headphones. However, only the HPA9 was able to make these headphones shine, because it can provide lots and lots of power, and with that power came just a little bit more impactful bass. There was a little bit more bass. Even if their impedance is only 31 ohms, you have to give them power. Okay, so all my sound impressions from now on are going to be with the Empyrean paired with the HPA9. Okay, so the first hours of listening with the Empyrean were, just to get accustomed to the headphones and see the general sound signature. However, just after a few hours, I realized how good these were. The Empyrean was able to show me something new in almost every song in my testing playlist, which you can find down below. I was feeling like I was discovering this music again, just like I did with the HD800 the first time that I got them. So I spent all my free time with them, not even wanting to go to sleep because of this. So what exactly makes them great? You know how some flagship headphones have something that makes them unique, like the HD800 with its Soundstage and detail and micro detail, or the LCD4 with the best bass in the business, and even Utopia with its amazing treble with lots of detail. Well, the Meze Empyrean has none of that, but it does everything else so good. What I mean by that is that they're very balanced while still having lots of detail, and that will probably make you think about selling your other headphones because you no longer need specialized headphones. So before the Empyrean, I was using the HD800 for rock music, jazz, classical and blues and so on, and the LCD2C for EDM and hip hop. After just a few hours of listening to the Empyrean, I put all those headphones on sale. The word that comes to mind when talking about this headphone is smooth, because there's this smooth transition between frequencies which kind of make them non-offensive while still having great detail. The soundstage is quite large, but again, just like the comfort, is somewhere in between the HD800 and LCD2C. Obviously, it doesn't compare with the HD800, which in my opinion still remains the king of soundstage. Listening to well-produced EDM, which has lots of layers, the Empyrean was able to handle those layers very, very well. The same is true with classical music, let's say if you have a full orchestra. And speaking of classical music, it is very boring on the HD800 in my opinion, because the HD800 lacks bass and there is no body to the instrument, and the Empyrean fixes that. When listening to the Empyrean, you can clearly state that the bass is planar. It's impactful, it's fast, and also very linear, which is something that I like. There are no humps and valleys in the frequency response of the bass. I added 8 dB above what the Empyrean already has, and the driver didn't show any notice of distortion. So this driver is basically distortion free. That is actually quite impressive. Now, I didn't go beyond 8 dB because it was already way too much. The mids are also very linear with just some tiny peaks and valleys which I haven't been able to hear. But the mids are very detailed, and acoustic guitars and electric guitars sound very well. The voices also sound very good, but they're not as intimate as on the LCD2C, but definitely not lost in the soundstage like on the HD800. I would say they're more close to the LCD2C. So the voice intimacy is again somewhat balanced. Okay, the only problem that I found with the mids is that with metal music I found that the guitars that fill the mids sound kind of congested. So I tried to fix this problem with EQ. So I lowered the mids with 1 dB and it seemed to fix this problem. Now I don't listen to a lot of metal, but if I do, I am 1 EQ away from enjoying metal. I think treble is my favorite part about these headphones. Coming from the HD800 and the LCD2, the difference is huge. The treble has enough energy to not make them dark, but also not be overly bright just like the HD800 is. The treble is never sibilant or bothering. Okay, so let's talk a bit about sources, because I think this is an interesting part. Now, I found that the Empyrean is very sensitive to the source that you have. I think you have to mix and match and see what you like. For me, it was the New Prime DAC 9 together with the New Prime HPA 9. I also found that they're sensitive to the music you provide. It has to be very well recorded music, otherwise these are not gonna like it, and you're gonna notice. More so than the HD800, which I thought was very sensitive to the music, but apparently these are more than that. Okay, so what is my conclusion? I think the Empyrean is the headphone of the year, and I think it does so many things well that it deserves this distinction. It offers one of the most enjoyable listening experiences. I recommend it to anyone, especially if you have the cash for it, because this thing is not cheap. This comes in at $3,000 or 3,000 euros. I recommend them so much that I sold my HD800 and LCD2C just to get this, and I think that's saying enough. I also want to wish good luck to the other headphones that are coming up for review, because they're gonna go against the Empyrean. Okay guys, that was it. I hope you liked it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.